The best of the Morning X 99X.
Good morning, X. Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. We're live at Smith's Old Bar. We are very, very proud to introduce, as part of our anniversary series, our anniversary week, ladies and gentlemen, David Bowie. Wow. Is this surreal or what? Welcome, David. We're your background singers. So, Leslie Fram, how does that feel sitting right next to David Bowie?
Fine.
This is,
Did anyone mention that's Reeves Gabrels over there?
Reeves
All alone.
Use the microphone. They use mics these days, Reeves.
David, I don't know if you can tell, but people are a little excited.
I'm really excited.
You guys were on Letterman the other night, and backstage we were talking. Was there some question between the two of you about wardrobe? Because it seemed like
Just hair
you may have been
products.
teasing Reeves a little bit about his pants.
No, it's just hair product.
Just hair product.
Yeah, when he gets my product, then I tease him about the lime green pants.
Liv Tyler seemed to have a problem breathing around you. Was that going on backstage too?
She had problems breathing.
And making complete sentences.
I came up with a real sophisticated line. I said, boy, have I got a son for you.
Nice.
He's like 26 now, so I think that's a perfect match.
You guys have never passed, and I mean, you've never, like, seen her backstage somewhere. It seems that in the circles you run, maybe she might be around somewhere, like as a kid.
In fact, I think the only kid that came out of rock and roll that I met was Dylan, is it? Neil?
Jacob?
Jacob
Dylan?
Jacob Dylan. No, the other Dylan.
His son Jacob.
The other, Dylan Thomas.
Oh, Dylan Thomas. I thought you were going for the Jacob thing.
Yeah.
David, is this early for you? Do you normally get up this early?
He said it feels like, doing a proficiency examination at music school. What was that you told me? That you went in with 3 judges.
I used to have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and take tests at music school, and I was telling you about playing a classical piece in front of 3 teachers and having one of them reach over and tune my guitar while I was playing. Which is not so different from now.
Oh, boom, boom.
I do see you, though, as keeping fairly normal hours. I mean, I don't see you like maybe we would have seen you 20 years ago up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, yeah, no, occasionally we'd get out.
Occasionally.
Yeah, we've been to a few raves recently, see what's happening out there. And they're way after 8 o'clock in the evening, so it kind of keeps you up.
You get a couple hours sleep at night, huh?
Yeah.
And then wake up and go out at 3 in the morning.
The thing that baffles me is that dance music is, it's real popular in Europe, of course. Mm-hmm. It's kind of getting popular over here and in Canada. But it's like, nobody can dance.
Right.
Like, kids come up and they say, what do you think of our scene then, Dave? And I say, great, but no one can dance. It's like, oh, but the music's cool. I said, like, yeah.
Do you still enjoy being famous?
I live for it.
Do you? Do you?
The old, it's a real stereotypical reply, but it's true. The only good it is getting a seat in a restaurant. I must be honest. It's not.
You get right in, and then you don't have to pay probably most of the time.
No, I just have to sing.
Sing for your meal.
Hey, sign this, not for me. It's for my mother. I get a lot of that.
You just had a big birthday. Was there, that was an incredible concert. Anybody see the David Bowie concert? Who was on your, was there someone at the very top of the list that you really wanted to be there?
It was very strange. I put down a list of about 20, 30 people that I thought I would approach about doing the show. And in all reality, the first 6 that I picked off, I got immediately. And so I was almost hemmed in by my own choice, so I just took the first 6 off the top of the list. That was Lou and Robert and all the rest of the guys that did it. But I had on the list that I'm hoping we may well do it again. It went down so well, the whole idea of it, that we might. It was for Save the Children's Fund, that we might be doing it again next January the 8th on at Madison again. And we get a different. I keep going down the list.
You just keep on having 50th birthday parties every year.
Always 50.
Yeah, always the 50. Steady and holding.
The new album, David's got a new album, Earthling. Don't know if you know. Pretty jam and techno. I mean, you take a different turn every album. I mean, this album is like boom.
Yeah. Don't know whether you were listening, but we kind of got involved in it on Outside. There are a few tracks on that.
Yeah.
And I'd been working with techno stuff on Black Tie, White Noise album, which was '92. I had
You've been easing
State
into it.
808 did some mixes for me then in Junior Vasquez. And I'd been kind of wanting to move into that area for some time. But this is the first time that we were so overtly concerned with that particular vocabulary. And for live, it's just great. It's a great buzz for us to work live like that.
Yeah, on Letterman, it seemed like it. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's
band
good.
was thumping.
Yeah, it is. It's a good band.
How does it cross over doing it? Just you guys doing it with acoustic guitars? That's gonna be an
find out.
interesting, different sound, huh?
You can be the judge of that. do you want us to play some?
Sure. You know what?
Do you want to fill in while I switch microphones?
Second hand? Nah, don't play.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'll just.
You
put it
guys
back
want
in
him
this
to play?
box.
Okay, we twisted his arm.
Well, in the late 50s, early 60s, I was spending time in penitentiary on a bank robbery charge. One of the guys I met in there was an up-and-coming country and western singer called Johnny Cash. Where am I going with this?
I know right where you're going.
So this is a little thing that we wrote in the cell there, and we're going to attempt to do it. It's called Scary Monsters.
Man, this is like surreal. Just sitting here going, that's David Bowie. We're at Smith's Bar. What a great anniversary present. Thank you, David.
A little later on, we'll do Ashes to Ashes. It's a tango.
Hey, very cool. I saw you get into that little move on Letterman the other night.
Yeah, we tried it as a waltz, a march, and
Are there any other kind of like styles of music that you would still like to try to
funny
incorporate?
thing about country and western.
Really? That's your next step.
Really?
Buddy Rich had a heart operation in the 50s, and as he was going into the theatre to get jacked up for the for the operation, the doctor said, "Well, tied or something." Said, have you got any? Is there anything that you're particularly allergic to, Mr. Rich? He said, "Yeah, country and western."
Where's home now, David? Where do you live? What do you call home?
Well, at the moment, it's really. I'm spending an awful lot of time in America, so I guess at this particular time.
Are you out
I'm
in
here an
LA or are
awful
you in
lot.
New York?
I'm more East Coast, I must be honest.
More East. You're an East Coast rapper.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel at home there. I like the East Coast line.
David, we had listeners faxing questions, and I have to tell you, we had over 1,000. I mean, trying to whittle it down to a few. So we're just going to get to about 750
We better get
of them.
started, yeah.
And you know, and if you want to do more, we can do more.
Oh, okay.
So these were just some that listeners.
What's the capital of?
Where were you during the fall of Saigon, David Bowie? Leslie, want to go?
Yeah, this one actually we've been wondering about for a while, to talk a little bit about the whole stock market thing and your catalog.
Well, my advice is that if you want some blue chip investment, is that the kind of thing you want?
Yes.
Blue chip?
What do you want to know?
How does it work? I mean, I'd like 100 shares of Bowie, please. I mean, are we buying like...
It was very in-house. It was a Wall Street deal, and it was particularly sided for that. It's the thing is, when you've got a catalog, and I guess with my sort of longevity, it's like 30 years worth of stuff. The usual thing to do is that you sell it off to a major record company, and they kind of keep issuing it out again in various forms. And you never get it back again. Your family never gets it. It goes for perpetuity. And I wanted to find out a way that I could do it so that I could get what I've done, what I've written, comes back to me at some point.
What's your trading symbol?
We don't have one.
No? You
No.
go in, you want some Bowie stuff.
It's gone already. It went out in 24 hours.
Oh, it's already done?
24 hours, the whole thing. And the thing is, I get it back in a few years' time. So it goes back to my family again. And that's the big, for me, that's a big deal. A writer should own what he does.
See, I bought all the Marilyn Manson stock, so I had no money left. I made a bad trade, I'm sorry.
Whose idea was that? Because that is certainly groundbreaking.
My cat.
Your cat. I mean,
My cat talks to me.
I mean, was it like did a business manager come to you, or did?
His name's Felix, and
Hey, I won't even question it.
The cat makes the moves.
I mean, was that did somebody come to you with the idea and said, "How about
it's
we do
something
this?"
that we've been mulling over, myself and my business manager.
It's a great idea.
For a number of years.
Did
now.
you immediately jump on it, or did you have to? Did you think first?
Well, we thought, I mean, if the whole thing had failed, we would have looked pretty stupid. Not that I'm not unused to doing stupid things, but it was just a wonderfully innovative idea on his part, and it just came off fantastically well.
We're going to pull the Jerry Springer thing. I'm going to come out, and if you have a good question,
Jerry's here?
Yeah, I'm going to pull the Jerry Springer in the audience.
Jerry Springer's children?
We've got faxed questions, and we'll get some questions from you guys. So if you have a question, put your hand up, and we'll get over to you. And make it a good question, please.
Got another question here from a listener, David. Is there one song lyric that comes to mind that you were especially proud of when you wrote it?
Oh, I think every song, with me, so much of my stuff it might be impressionistic, but the great body of it is almost autobiographical, even though it's only strangely associated with how I live my life. But at the moment, the lyric that means the most to me is on the new album. It's called 7 Years in Tibet. That's a long, involved story, but when I was a kid, I was kind of a 15-minute Buddhist. And I had an association with something called the Tibet Society, and I met a number of Tibetans. One of them became my teacher at the time. And I kind of lost contact over the years. This is 35 years ago. And I was in my 20s, late 20s.
No, I just said...
Nobody here is up for math, right?
It got really quiet for a second.
So, and then I got prodded by guilt when I saw the Dalai Lama coming out over the last couple of years, explaining and trying to focus on the situation that's happening in Tibet with the invasion of the Chinese in 1956, still there, committing genocide on the country and thoroughly ruining it, taking it apart, reducing their culture to ashes. And I saw so many celebrities, so-called, actually taking an active part in broadcasting these facts. And I kind of, my guilt got prodded a bit. So that's how I contributed this song. And do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Sure. This really wasn't a lead up to it.
It works for us.
David Bowie live on 99X.
I can't believe this is in order. Thank you very much for giving us that cue. That's really good.
Good segue. We're live at Smith's Bar with David Bowie, Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy, our anniversary party all week. David, we have a question from one of the audience members.
That's new, right? That's one of the new ones?
Sorry? Yeah, that's nice.
I don't know her name, but I can hear her heart pounding from here. What's your name?
Alex Omley.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
You're fabulous.
She had a lot of great questions. I recognize the name. She faxed in a ton of really good questions.
Thank you.
Okay, go.
Did you get to meet Jim Henson? And
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
Henson, I found very quiet, very intelligent, active mind who was genuinely concerned with how children receive information. I liked him very much indeed.
Did you get to be on the Muppet Show?
No, I never did.
Aww.
No, I did a movie with him, a thing called Labyrinth.
Thank you for your question.
Actually, one of the questions that came in had to do, well, a lot of them had to do with your acting, but one
There's a lot of questions about my acting.
Not critiques,
not
David.
questionable, but questions regarding. Regarding your acting career, which roles are more fulfilling? Those like in Labyrinth or Labyrinth? I don't know the correct pronunciation.
Labyrinth is nice.
Okay.
I used to drink it in Paris in the early 20s.
That's right. Those like in Labyrinth that work off your musical creativity, or strictly dramatic roles like Elephant Man that have no musical tie-in, which are more personally fulfilling?
I think it goes hand in hand. I'm not a keen actor. I don't really enjoy the process very much. I'd love to be a film star, but the amount of work that seems to have to go with it, you have to like learn how to act, and you know. And it's like more fun just to see your name on a poster, and that would appeal to me. But I don't have the ambition or the determination.
You're a results guy, much like Barnes.
Yeah, I think the results are.
He just wants to get to the result.
We just want the poster and everything, and then I don't want to do the work.
However, there's the odd moment. I did a film with Martin Scorsese, The Last Temptation of Christ.
Yeah.
I'm working with somebody like that. I guess it puts it all in place, because he suddenly showed me that you can really be creative as an actor. And there are 2 or 3 directors only that I've worked with who really allow you freedom to kind of just play at what you're doing more. And Scorsese is one of them. I mean, it was a fantastic experience working with him.
Probably the best American filmmaker we have.
Just sensational.
Easily. Another question from the audience. What's your name?
Maria Alabiso. Hi.
Hello.
You can stop shaking. It's okay. He's not going to hit you or anything.
First off, real quick, my daughter loves you in the movie Labyrinth that you played, and she just loved you in that. She didn't know who you were, and I had to fill her in, but she's a big fan. But real
How
quick,
did you fill her in? Maybe keep that to yourself.
My favorite song is Satellite of Love with Lou Reed. With that song, I love. I listen to it a lot still. But real quick, I was curious, what was your inspiration for the song Jump on Black Tie, White Noise? That song's really touched my life personally.
Really?
And I was curious. Yeah. I have an autistic brother that
You
just
do?
really reminds me a lot of him. And
Yeah, you know about that then. It was associated, a half-brother that I had some very serious mental problems and unfortunately committed suicide in the middle 80s. And again, I dwelt and been eaten up by the whole series of incidents surrounding my brother and his life. And I guess my closure was to express it in some way through that song.
thank you for that song. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Another question from our sheet, and then maybe if you want to perform another song.
Sure.
But one of the listeners wanted to know, David Bowie, what's the worst job you've ever had?
The worst job I ever had was pulling lobster. Oh, I can't do that. Who knows Pete and Dud?
Pete and Doug?
Yeah, well, you were on the bus.
The worst job I ever had was a series of sketches performed by Peter Cook and Dudley Moore on an extremely blasphemous bootleg album that they put out a number of years ago. Obviously nobody. You should try and get hold of it. This is so funny. The worst job, I think the worst job I ever had was, I tell you, John, I can't, I've had some not too bad jobs. The one was sort of, it was a letterpress place where you had to just copy off printing.
Mm-hmm. You worked at a Kinko's.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Picture that.
And
Would you like single or double-sided, sir?
Oh, you don't know the jobs I've done. I did waiting, I did, all kinds of stuff when I was a kid. But the Kinko job, as you put it, was good because you just, you could go in any time during the day if you got a few hours spare between rehearsals or looking for gigs and all that. And you could just do it by the hour. So it was, just something.
And print up your own concert posters for free.
But my brother, the one I just mentioned about the other song, told me a job that he had once, where he read in the newspapers that there was this job where a uniform is provided and it was a good salary a week. So he went along and there was a huge barren backyard with what looked like an enormous beehive, sort of like 30 foot high. And the guy said, well, here's your uniform, get ready. He says this white boiler suit that he was putting on. I said, what do I do? He said, well, that's those are coffee beans in there. And what we're going to do is lower you down on this crane into the thing. and you have to sort them out into the various different things. And he said, well, why are you low? He said, well, we have to lower you down because you'll pass out in about 8 minutes. And then we have to pull you out.
And just pull you out
until you revive.
and revive you, huh?
That's a nice
It's
job.
one of the worst jobs I've heard of.
Do you possess a skill that if this all ended today, you could make a living doing that skill?
I make very bad cupboards and chairs. I'm moderately okay at carpentry.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Comedy might be. After all the
Three-legged
jokes you've been
chairs.
throwing out, comedy might work too. You want to play, David?
I'd love to do something, yeah.
David Bowie live on the Morning X. He asks, how are we doing on time? As long as you want to stay, right?
This is an exploration of the 20th century. 32 years ago, I was in the studio with one of the several thousand bands that I had when I was in my teens, and we were doing a record, I think with Shel Talmy producing. Shel Talmy produced all the Kinks and the Who and a lot of those bands. Shel had found a new session kid. He was just out of art school, and he was the hot kid on the block. He was like 16 years old, and he and his mate had invented this little machine called the Fuzz Box. His name was Jimmy Page. His name was Jimmy Page. So we were... I was doing this atrocious version of, I think it was Bobby Bland's I Pity the Fool. I don't know if anybody's into blues. Pity the fool that falls in love with you. One of those things. And during breaks, Jimmy said, I got this riff. I said, well, you have to see a doctor about it. He said, I'm not using it. I'm not using it. I don't quite know what to do with it. You might like it. So he gave it to me. So this was Jimmy's riff, which was... I thought that was so cool. I mean, it was just 2 strings. I thought that's really nice. I didn't know what to do with it. And I played around with it for a few weeks, and I came up with a song on one of my first albums. The album is called The Man Who Sold the World, and the song... But I'm not doing that. And the song was called The Superman, and it was like... So it was... I'm not doing this either. I'm only doing a bit.
Live at Smith's Old Bar.
You feel like doing another song?
And what's more...
David Bowie live on the Morning X. We have another question from the audience. That was awesome, David. What's your name?
Hannah Hawkins.
Hannah, David Bowie.
This is power dressing. Look, come here, love.
Come on stage. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Hey.
Hey!
Now we got a show. Now we got a show.
Girl who knows where to go. Look at this.
I have a philosophical question for you on behalf of me and some friends of mine. And
Don't mention Kierkegaard, dog. I hate him.
okay, it's not that philosophical, but
You look great.
oh, thank you. So do you. My question deals with your sort of narratives of fragmented bodies and outside, and I'm wondering from what angles you approach that, from say contemporary philosophy like Deleuze and Lyotard, or maybe from science fiction, or from your interest in Duchamp.
I was going to ask that question.
Sure, we had that on tap, right?
Certainly, I mean, any basis on modern art, whether it's visual or musical or theatrical or whatever, from people like Melam, James Joyce and Duchamp, I think the main impetus has been this century, the idea of the idea, that music and pictures aren't just feeble representations of reality, but they're a setting up of triggers that cause you to question life in a nutshell. And I think because information comes at us so voraciously now, We seem to be over-imbued with information from the various medium forms. We can't analyze anything anymore. The French school was saying in the 60s that we're getting to a point where there is only the illusion of history, the illusion of a future. Those things are rapidly disappearing. We don't have a history anymore. We can't there's no time to analyze what happened last week. And once you have that situation where the past is becoming a grey area, by virtue of that fact, the future looks less like happening in a real sense. Only 15 years ago, people had some kind of expectations that we were going somewhere that had a point and a reason, and that the purpose was to make things better as we go on. That reasoning and that main objective has virtually disappeared. We feel that the only thing that we actually know about is living now, in today. And I think that's caused art to turn in on itself, and the body is becoming a new kind of canvas. That's why you're wearing what you're wearing, and your nose. There's it's the one thing you have power over, is your body and how it reacts to this very complex and chaotic situation that is our lives. We have no power over the complexities of the fragmentation of life, and so we more and more go into our body. It kind of comes out of there.
You're shaking. Are you okay?
Yes. Thank you very much for.
Thanks for your question.
Do you like sports? I mean,
How do you follow up with that question?
you know, what is? You've been in the public eye for 30 years. What is the weirdest rumor or misstatement or something you've read in tabloids? What's one of the weirder things you've heard about yourself? That almost made you laugh.
I don't find any of it at all funny.
No, are you serious? You can't stand back and laugh at some of this?
I just think there are so many. I don't even know where to start.
What's the last one?
What's the last one? Oh, come and help me out, Reese. Can you think of anything recently that's...
Something to do with diapers.
Something to do with diapers. David, another question, and maybe we could ask you to do one more song.
Yeah.
Cool. You and Iman are a very sexy couple. My question was...
I told you that.
I think so. What did the two of you enjoy doing the most together?
Well, gee, Leslie, I wonder.
Besides that...
I must apologize, David Bowie, for my partner, Leslie.
Let him answer the question.
I really don't need to.
No.
I think we just did.
I think there's nothing that we don't enjoy doing together. I mean, that's why we decided to share our lives.
Well, you said in an article once that you guys like to do silly things with each other. What kind of silly stuff will you do?
This really is getting out of hand.
Yeah. Oh, it could get so much worse.
I prefer to. I don't mind talking about my silly stuff. But when it impinges on Iman's, I think I would stay away from it.
We respect that. Should we do another song?
In other words, Jimmy, it's none of your business.
I didn't ask. I'm just following up.
David, do you have time to do a couple of songs?
But I could certainly do one more.
Do one.
About 5 or 6 or 7?
David Bowie!
Just play until you're finished.
Reeves and I were very proudly part of one of the current changing bands of the 20th century. It was called Tin Machine.
That was back in the 20th century.
That was back in the 20th century. This is one of the songs that we wrote at that time. In case anybody never heard a Tin Machine song, this is the kind of stuff we were doing. This is all very late 80s.
Live on the Morning X, David Bowie. It's our 3rd anniversary concert. David, thanks for making it very special.
David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
David's got a brand new album. They're standing up, David.
You're listening to the best of the Morning X.
You can also catch it on the Morning X podcast,
Wherever you get your podcasts. Or at 99x.com.